Ngozi sat quietly on the bus, looking around as the city moved by. The bus was full of people and the air was hot and stuffy. Then, an old woman got on the bus and sat in the seat right in front of Ngozi. The woman looked very tired, and within moments she had fallen into a deep sleep. Ngozi's eyes turned to the woman's bag, which was resting by her side. With a quick glance around, Ngozi quietly reached into the bag and took the woman's purse. She felt a thrill of excitement. But then, she quickly yelled at the driver to stop the bus. She couldn't risk the woman waking up and finding her purse was gone. As soon as the bus stopped, Ngozi jumped out of her seat and ran off the bus, moving as fast as she could. She didn't want to get caught. Once home, she quickly ran to her room, her heart racing with excitement. She opened the purse and found some money and a fancy pair of sunglasses. She smiled to herself and put on the glasses, looking at herself in the mirror. Just as she was admiring herself, she saw something strange in the reflection, a shadow moving behind her. She turned around, but there was nothing there. Her sister, Zanele, then came into the room asking if Ngozi wanted to come to church with her. Ngozi, feeling tired, said no. After Zanele left, Ngozi threw the purse in a plastic bag and tossed it into the trash outside. She felt exhausted and went to bed. When she woke up, it was already bright outside. She jumped out of bed in a panic, realizing she was late for an important job interview. Ngozi quickly got dressed, grabbed her things, and ran out of the house. She got into a taxi and told the driver to head to the city center. As the taxi moved through the busy streets, she put on the sunglasses to hide her nervousness. But then, she saw something that made her stop. There was a man standing right in front of the car. She screamed at the driver to stop. "Do you not see him? He's standing right there," she shouted. The driver looked confused. "There's no one there, madam," he said. Ngozi was shocked. She took off the sunglasses and looked again. There was no one in front of the car. "Where did he go?" she muttered, confused. The driver, now uneasy, told Ngozi he didn't want to drive her anymore. "You can get out," he said, pulling over. Ngozi protested, but the driver was already speeding off. Alone on the side of the road, Ngozi felt panic set in. She was running out of time. She had to make it to her interview. She walked quickly, hoping to find another taxi. But no taxis came her way. Her heart raced as the minutes ticked by. Finally, she remembered her friend Tola had helped her get this interview after many rejections. This was her chance. She couldn't miss it. She picked up the pace and started running, hoping to get there on time. The sun was hot, so she put the sunglasses back on to protect her eyes from the heat. But then, things got even stranger. Ngozi noticed some people walking behind her. They looked out of place and seemed to be walking faster than she was. Ngozi quickly crossed the road to get away from them, but they followed her. She was terrified. She ran faster, but the people kept chasing her. Ngozi screamed for help, but no one seemed to notice. She finally reached a busy street where people were staring at her. She pointed to the people behind her, begging them to help her, but everyone just looked confused. That's when Ngozi realized that something was wrong with the sunglasses. She took them off and threw them in a nearby trash can. Her heart was still racing, but she had no time to lose. Her interview was only 30 minutes away. Ngozi quickly flagged down a motorcycle and told the driver to take her to the interview. She made it just in time. After the interview, Ngozi was still shaken. She couldn't stop thinking about the strange people she had seen earlier. Why had she been able to see them with the sunglasses? She tried to push the thoughts out of her mind, but it was hard. When she got home, Ngozi felt hungry and went to the kitchen. But as she walked back to her room, she saw the sunglasses sitting on her bedside table. How did they get here? She asked herself, confused. She was sure she had thrown them away. Panicked, Ngozi called for Zanele. When Zanele came in, Ngozi asked her if she had seen the sunglasses. Zanele said she hadn't. "Did anyone come into the house today?" Ngozi asked. Zanele shook her head. "No one has been here." Ngozi's mind raced. She felt a deep regret for stealing from the old woman. She had never experienced anything like this before. She remembered the saying, "Many days for the thief, but one day for the owner. Ngozi had laughed at this saying before, never thinking that a day would come when she would regret stealing from someone. Zanele, noticing how frightened Ngozi was, asked her what was wrong. But Ngozi couldn't bring herself to tell her everything. She lied, saying she was just tired from the long interview. Zanele suggested that Ngozi get some rest, and left the room. Ngozi sat alone in her room, her fear growing. She stared at the sunglasses, unsure of what to do. Then she heard a soft voice whisper her name. Ngozi froze, feeling a chill run down her spine. She asked, "Who's there?" The voice answered, "Don't be scared. I'm Ifeoma." Ngozi, trembling, put the sunglasses back on. To her shock, a beautiful young woman appeared in front of her. "Who are you?" Ngozi whispered. The woman smiled gently and said, "I am a ghost." "Ghost?" Ngozi repeated, stunned. "Are all the people I saw today ghosts?" "Yes," the woman said. "We are all spirits trapped in the world because of how we died. These sunglasses allow you to see us. We need help, and we are looking for someone to set us free." Ngozi was still in shock, not fully understanding what was happening. But before she could ask more questions, a little girl appeared in the room. She was crying. "Please help my mother," the girl begged. "No one can help her." Ngozi, scared but determined, asked the girl where her mother was. The girl led Ngozi to a small house not far from her own. Inside, they found the girl's mother, who had just taken an overdose of medicine. The mother had been through so much. Her daughter had been sick for years, and her husband had recently died in a car accident. Grief had driven the woman to the brink of despair. Ngozi quickly called for help, and the woman was rushed to the hospital. She survived, and later, her daughter's spirit was able to rest. Ngozi returned home, feeling confused by everything that had happened. She was very tired, so she fell into a deep sleep. A few hours later, she had a frightening dream. In the dream, a strange man was chasing her through a forest with a knife. Ngozi ran as fast as she could, trying to escape from the man who kept chasing her. Apologies for the confusion earlier. Below is the revised version of the second part, where Ngozi is the main character, Zanele is her sister, and Ifeoma is the ghost. Luckily for Ngozi, her sister Zanele walked into her room and saw her struggling in her sleep. "Ngozi, Ngozi," Zanele said, gently tapping her sister to wake her up. But Ngozi didn't respond, still tossing and turning in her sleep. Zanele, feeling an overwhelming urge to pray, began to pray aloud. As soon as she did, Ngozi suddenly jerked awake, gasping for air, her body trembling. "Ngozi, what's happening? Tell me, what's going on?" Zanele asked, her voice full of concern. Ngozi was still in shock, her face pale as she looked around, not sure what to say. "It was just a nightmare," Ngozi muttered, but Zanele could sense that something deeper was troubling her. "You can't keep hiding it. I know something's wrong. Tell me the truth," Zanele insisted. Ngozi hesitated, her eyes filled with fear. I just need to be alone," she whispered. With a worried glance, Zanele left the room, leaving Ngozi alone in her thoughts. As the room grew silent, Ngozi sat on her bed, her heart pounding. Her mind raced with thoughts of the strange man from her dream. Suddenly, she heard a soft whisper, a voice she didn't recognize but felt compelled to listen to. "Ngozi, don't be afraid," the voice said gently. Ngozi froze. She hesitated, then grabbed the sunglasses she had found earlier, the ones that had caused her so much trouble. She placed them on her eyes, and in that moment she saw Ifeoma, standing before her, not in flesh but in spirit. Ngozi gasped. "Who are you?" she whispered, her voice trembling. "I am Ifeoma," the figure replied, her voice full of sadness. "I am the one you've been helping." Ngozi blinked in disbelief. You're a ghost?" "Yes," Ifeoma nodded. "I am one of the spirits trapped because of the way I died, and now I need your help." Ngozi, still in shock, asked, "What happened to you?" Ifeoma sighed deeply. "A few years ago, I was a poor girl, living with my mother in a small village. One day I met a woman named Kelechi. She seemed kind and promised to help me and my family. She gave us money to survive, and I thought our troubles were over." Ifeoma paused, her eyes filled with sorrow. "But when I showed my mother the money, she was suspicious. She asked what Kelechi wanted in return, but I told her she wanted nothing. My mother told me to return it, but I didn't listen. I kept the money and lied to my mother, saying I gave it back." Ngozi listened, her heart aching for Ifeoma. "And then what happened?" "Kelechi kept her promises," Ifeoma continued. "She gave me more money and even invited me to live in her mansion. I told my mother I got a job and was staying in an office room. But the truth was, I was living in luxury with Kelechi." Ngozi's eyes widened. "Then what? How did everything go wrong?" Ifeoma looked down, her face filled with regret. "One day a man came to our house. He was old, but Kelechi treated him like royalty. I didn't know it then, but he was the one who was behind all of Kelechi's wealth. He was a part of an evil cult, using young women to renew his life." Ngozi gasped. "What do you mean? What happened to you?" Ifeoma's voice cracked. "He needed a woman with a lot of life left in her to renew his own. He had Kelechi find me, and she tricked me into being his sacrifice." Ngozi shuddered. "Oh no. What happened next?" Ifeoma continued, her voice trembling. "The man made me kneel before him, and when I did, I fell unconscious. I woke up in the middle of a dark forest, buried alive in a casket." Ngozi gasped in horror. "That's terrible. How could they do that to you?" Ifeoma closed her eyes. "I wished I had listened to my mother's warning, but now, that same man who took my life is coming for you. He knows you'll help me, and that's why he wants you. You must find my mother before my body is moved. If it is moved, I will never find rest." Ngozi's heart raced with panic. "Please tell me where she is. I will find her." Ifeoma gave her the directions to her mother's house, and Ngozi immediately set out. After a short while, she arrived at a small, quiet house, her heart beating wildly in her chest. She knocked on the door, unsure of how to explain the truth to Ifeoma's mother. After a few moments, the door opened, and to Ngozi's shock, the old woman who had been robbed on the bus stood before her. Ngozi froze. I took your purse on the bus the other day. I'm so sorry. I have to tell you everything," Ngozi stammered. The old woman's eyes filled with sorrow. Ngozi continued, "Your daughter Ifeoma is standing right here in front of you, not in flesh but in spirit. I saw her through these glasses." Tears welled up in the old woman's eyes. "Ifeoma, my daughter?" she whispered, grief evident in her voice. Ngozi handed the glasses to the woman, and as soon as she put them on, her face softened. "Ifeoma," she said, weeping. "My daughter." Ifeoma spoke softly from the spirit world. "Mother, I'm sorry. I should have listened to you." Ifeoma's spirit then explained everything to her mother. She told her about the evil man, where she was buried, and how to reach her grave. Without hesitation, her mother rushed out to find her body. Ngozi, feeling relieved and thankful that she could help, returned home. Zanele came to invite her to church for the night vigil, but Ngozi was too tired and stayed home to rest. As she prepared her dinner, she checked her phone and saw a message from the company she had interviewed with. She had been hired. Ngozi smiled, ready to start her new life. But as she lay in bed, she was once again haunted by the dream of the evil man. This time she found herself in the forest, about to be buried alive like Ifeoma. The evil man appeared, telling her that she would die in place of Ifeoma for ruining his plans. Terrified, Ngozi struggled, but it seemed hopeless. Then, she heard a familiar voice. It was Zanele, standing between Ngozi and the evil man, praying for her protection. A bright light surrounded them, and Ngozi woke up in her own room, trembling with fear. Zanele came in shortly after, asking about the vision. Ngozi realized it wasn't just a nightmare, but a spiritual battle that had been won. all thanks to her sister's prayers. Ngozi shared the entire story with Zanele, from stealing the purse to helping Ifeoma's spirit find peace. Zanele listened attentively and prayed for her sister, offering comfort and reminding her that she was never alone. The next day, Ngozi was ready for her first day at work, full of hope. But when she arrived, the supervisor told her that she was promoted to a higher position, with better pay and perks. However, soon after, the supervisor told her she was being dismissed. Confused and devastated, Ngozi was escorted out of the office. She had just lost her golden opportunity, and tears filled her eyes as she walked home. Zanele tried to console her, reminding her to be grateful even when things didn't go as planned. The next day, Ngozi returned to the company to seek answers, and the receptionist revealed that many people who had taken the job had died mysteriously, after only 2 years. Ngozi realized that the evil man, the owner of the company, had manipulated her, just as he had done with others before. Terrified, Ngozi rushed home to share what she had learned. She knew now that her prayers had saved her from the hands of death. Ngozi made a vow to live a better life, one filled with purpose, and to never again steal or be involved in evil. Ngozi's life was changing, and she knew that the lessons she had learned would guide her moving forward.